Realtree has always had a connection to the fishing industry and the outdoor lifestyle. In 2016, Realtree expanded on the traditional business of creating the world's most effective camouflage patterns to create a fishing brand and family of patterns designed to connect the woods to the water and strengthen the bond between the two worlds. We couldn't be more excited to be working with the industry's top brands, retailers, and anglers to continue our growth, and we hope that you will join us. Enjoy Realtree fishing patterns inshore, offshore, on the lake, or at the dock. Learn more about the extensive line Realtree fishing patterns, apparel, gear, and more at Realtree.com.
One thing that all of us outdoorsmen and women love to do is travel, whether to fish new waters or to chase wild game in other areas that we may not get opportunities at in our own area. Our friends at Monster Reservations Group want to open up an entirely new chance for you to travel and enjoy the outdoors or just relaxing. With over 40 destinations in the U.S. like beautiful Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Wisconsin Dells and Shenandoah Valley, Virginia, Poconos, Pennsylvania, and even our backyard here at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And many more. They are going to give you twice the vacation. That's right. Pay for 4 nights, and you're going to get 4 nights for free. That's $498 for an 8-night stay at one of our incredible destinations, and that's for simply listening to Trilogy Outdoors. Go book your trip and get all the details at www.monsterrg.com. That's monsterrg, all lowercase.com. Pay less for an incredible opportunity to explore the outdoors in your choice of over 40 destinations. Book your trip now.
Hi, I'm Jim Shockey, and I would like to extend all of you a warm invite to our Jim Shockey Classic Military Charity Event. Our 2021 Military Charity Event was a huge success, and our 2022 event is going to be even better. The proceeds from our military charity event, supported by Freedom Hunters, is going to help get the men, women, and families of our U.S. and Canadian Armed Forces out on outdoor adventures. There is no better cause than honoring the courageous men and women who protect our freedoms. So join Louise and me on March 27th and 28th, 2022 at the Wild Dunes Resort on Isle of Palms in South Carolina. Go to JimShockeyClassic.com to register, and I'll see you there.
Trilogy Outdoors.
All right, folks, welcome back to Trilogy Outdoors, and I tell you what, where we talk everything dealing with fins, fur, and feathers, and my co-host and partner in crime here, Senator Stephen Goldfinch, has had a busy week, I'm sure. Y'all are just kind of getting cranked up for the year, right? Is this when things kind of start building up and then the snowball effect happens?
Yeah, we go back into the Senate in January, and as we get a little further into February and even March, things just start growing and snowballing, as you said. But we've started out really fast and heavy this year. We dealt with certificate of need issue, which is serious to hospitals and the way hospitals are licensed in South Carolina, and we jumped right into medical marijuana this week, which we're gonna talk with one of our friends in the near future, Senator Tom Davis, about that, and that's going to be a very interesting debate.
Yeah, there's no doubt, and I'll tell you, I don't even know if you remember me reaching out to you last year or the year before. I sent you a text and I said, hey, I'm watching SCE TV or whatever from the Senate floor. And Tom was either filibustering or he was on the floor. And let me tell you, when he's on the floor, he doesn't just demand attention. He gets it because, he is so articulate. I'm sorry.
He is. He's very articulate. And I've learned, listen, I have been very blessed to have been surrounded by people that are much better looking and smarter than I am. And you're one of them.
Yeah, whatever. No, you're missing on all that, but keep going.
You're one of them. But seriously, my whole life I've been blessed to have been surrounded by people that are articulate and smarter than I am. And I've learned a lot from them. And Senator Davis and Senator Campton, who we're going to have on the show sometime in the near future as well, two fantastic statesmen. There are just not that many statesmen in the world anymore. People that you can trust, people that are articulate, people that know how to make an argument, people that stand for their convictions. And they are two of those guys, and I'm looking forward to having them on the show.
Both of them, the two names you just mentioned, and so Tom Davis has been in the Senate for like 14 years.
I think that's right, yeah. And Campson has been in 21 years, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, most recently, one of the longest tenured senators in the history of South Carolina. Am I correct in saying that?
Senator Leatherman.
Senator Leatherman had a pretty good tenure up there, didn't he?
He was there 42 years, I think. It was a while.
Right. It was a long time.
It was a while. But Senator Leatherman was 90 or 90. I think he was just about to turn 91 years old.
Wow.
And he was still going strong until 8 weeks ago, he developed cancer and stomach cancer, and it was inoperable.
Quick.
And he went quick. Yep. He went
wow.
quick.
And so now Mike Rickenbach from over in Florence has won that seat, and will be coming up there to get introduced to you guys. Now, when will he start? I don't know how that works.
So there will be a general election, which is coming up in, if I'm not mistaken, March. Special elections are odd.
Right.
But I think that's coming up in March, and then he'll be sworn in pretty much immediately after that.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I didn't know he got in that quick. Well, I know as much as you like to be outdoors and hunting right now, I'll tell you, I did get to go enjoy some outdoors for you this week. I did get to go duck hunting in North Carolina, and it was incredible. I would definitely suggest the Currituck area to anybody, and the lodge where I was is incredible. The guides there are all really good guides. Of course, most of it was diver hunting, doing it out on the sound there in Currituck.
Shooting redheads?
Shooting redheads, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Bluebills, teal, lots of teal up there right now. But we got there, there was 11 inches of snow on the ground the day before. I drove up overnight pretty much. I left it late at night, and I'll tell you, being the southerner that I am, me and icy bridges don't get along well. I chewed a hole in my seat going across two of the bridges up there, one of them being the Chewan, I think's how you say it, river up there. The bridge is about 2 miles long. Anyway, ice everywhere. I was scared to death, but what a great time up there. I'm going back up. We already made reservations for next year to go back up the last 2 weeks, but they said the year had been really down for them. Birds numbers, hunters as well. They typically have a house full every day during the season. They had a couple nights this week with no one coming. And here we are the last week of the season.
We had a weird duck season everywhere, really. We had a very mild fall and really a fairly mild winter until just last week or so.
Yep.
We started getting some cool weather, which was going to push the ducks in. But guess what? Season's almost over.
And you said, I think you're the one that told me. You said when I went with you to a certain plantation to go turkey hunting, you said now is when the big numbers of birds here.
Oh yeah.
And you were right. Like we ready to ride around on those impoundments, and it was crazy. But speaking of duck hunting, and that brings us to our distinguished guest today. Yeah. Real quick. Quick explanation of our guest that we have on the podcast today.
Charles Hammertime Snapp.
Yep.
Charles is a great friend. I've known Charles going on 30 years. I actually worked for Charles. I guided for Charles in my downtime in high school and in college. He is not just an entertainer, but he is one of the hardest working guys I know. And what's really interesting about Charles is that he's sort of like the father of duck guiding in Arkansas. He started in the 70s, and that was not a popular place to go in the 70s, believe it or not. I mean, Arkansas is a place that we all sort of know as being a duck mecca, and it has waned in the last few years. But really for the last 40 or 50 years, everybody has recognized Arkansas as the duck mecca. And Charles was one of the founders of that movement in Arkansas. Really one of the first duck guides, and started a place in northeast Arkansas and grew it until he had, on average 60 to 80 hunters a day. And it was just an incredible operation, and I'm looking forward to talking to him.
Wow. I'll tell you what, man, after that introduction, what in the world are we going to keep talking for?
Don't know.
All right, Charles. Hey, let's go ahead and check out this wonderful interview with Charles. Y'all sit back and relax and enjoy the rest of this one.
You'll like it. All right, we're with Charles Hammertime Snapp. Charles, you and I have known each other. I was actually thinking about this today. It's going on 30 years. It's 25 or 26 years we've known each other.
It is. In fact, I was kind of thinking about that today, and this ties into what I think the conversation's all about. I'm sitting at my third wife's home. I'm going to say 27 years ago, to be exact, but
Yep.
it may be 25. But we got married. I'd moved in with her, and we'd been kicking the guiding service up some, and we started that out in 78. So it was sometime after that, quite a bit. But anyways, I
Yeah.
get this phone call from this guy in South Carolina, and he says, "Man, I'm going to give you a number to a buddy of mine who wants to come up there hunting." And I said, "Well, that'll be cool." I said, "Go and hand it out." And he said, "He's going to call you at night." And we're sitting there talking. So we get off the phone rings, and it's your dad. And he's introducing himself to me, and he's talking about wanting to duck hunt in Arkansas, and he's talking about South Carolina, and he's talking about scuba diving and fishing and beaches and warm, and I'm thinking, holy cow, what type of paradise do you have down there? And the ironic thing is, that's the same thing he was thinking about waterfowl season up here.
That's exactly right.
That's what makes the world go around. But yeah, that was prior to the first hunt y'all did, and when y'all first came up, I guess you were 7 or 8.
Yeah, I was. I'm trying to think how old I was. I feel like I was maybe 8 or 10, but it was around that age. And
yeah, well, my wife seems to think you were 7 or 8.
Okay.
I'd almost bet on her.
Yeah, I would always.
I would always bet on the wife.
I would always bet on
Yeah.
on Jackie. Yeah.
Well, but behind every good man's great woman's what my late mother always told me. So I'm going to side with wife.
And she'd be absolutely right about that. Now, we jump right in, but for those of you who are listening that don't know who Charles Hammertime Snapp is, and I have a hard time believing there's anybody that doesn't, but for those of you who don't, Charles is, at least in my eyes, Charles, the most famous, the best duck guide really the nation has ever known, but certainly Arkansas.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to agree with you on that, but a lot of people wouldn't.
No, you're right. You're right. But I believe it, and so do a lot of other people. Quite honestly, I mean, in all. I mean, I'm joking a little bit, but I'm really not. You are tremendously respected in duck circles, and we'll get to your current life, but that was a past life.
It was. All good things must come to an end.
Yeah. So. We'll get to what you're doing now because that's interesting to me as well. But I want to go like way back. Okay, so I want to go way back. And as I recall, so I actually worked for you for a little while. I helped take groups when y'all were full and guided a little bit, and certainly guided all of my crowd anytime we came, and got to know you really well. And and I'm really blessed to call you a friend for many years. And you had told me a story one time that I've never forgot. And if the statute of limitations hasn't already ran, then just tell me to stop, okay? But
I hope it has.
Man, me too. Me too. But you had told me something one time about running or smuggling. Maybe smuggling's a bad word. Smuggling turquoise across the border on your motorcycle. Do you
Well, it was in a 54 Chevy pickup.
Okay, 54 Chevy pickup. So I imagine the motorcycle part of it. That just made it more cool. But
yeah.
No less cool. So tell me how you got into that and how you got out of it.
Well, and really, it was one of those things that timing was everything. The turquoise craze was hitting big, and silver turquoise, and I used to tool leather, make belts and handbags, and travel around and make the craft fairs and things like that. And in the off season, actually, part of that was, and we would, so the turquoise was coming up.